Hi everybody, Mark here with the Average Me channel, here with a special Labor Day weekend episode. And you don't have to go anywhere necessarily to see interesting things. So here I am, back home in Wisconsin. This is my home, and I just thought I'd take a little stroll and show you some interesting things that we can find right in our own backyard. And let's start with this tree behind me. Really interesting, probably won't be able to see it very well, but we have an eagle that resides with us way up there. So I don't know how well you can see this. I'll try to zoom in and show you the eagle's nest. And if you see that collection, it's awful dark, but that chunk of branches and leaves, it's right about, let me see if I can get my finger, right about here. That's the eagle's nest. And 2 years ago, they were raising a family. They had a couple of eaglets up there. One of them we found hopping around the yard. We called the DNR, Department of Natural Resources, and unfortunately, that eagle didn't make it. Let's go for a walk. Beautiful day. The lake is really active today. A lot of people are water skiing and fishing and pulling people behind their boats. I was out on the lake a little earlier. It's not a really big lake. It's about 250-acre lake. And now I'm just going to take a walk and see what we can find. There's always interesting things. Down there. There you can see a deer track. The deer are always around. I'm sure we'll run into a few. And it's just a beautiful day in Wisconsin. Probably in the mid to upper 70s. Just a wonderful day to be out. You can see there's not a cloud in the sky. Every now and then I'll see some animals that live in this old hollow log. I'll see chipmunks or other things frolicking around. And that's some really pretty color with the moss. It's been kind of wet lately, so we see a lot of mushrooms springing up. Sometimes these mushrooms are very colorful, very pretty. Here are some more tracks. That looks like it's somebody's dog. So there's a dog track. That's not very interesting, is it? And I'm not sure what this is. It's not a dog, because a dog usually leaves a pad. I'm kind of guessing a raccoon, but a raccoon typically doesn't have that spread. It looks too small for a bear, too big for a fox. So maybe some of you who are real outdoorsmen can tell us, what is this animal? If I have to guess, I would say a raccoon. It just seems awful wide for a raccoon. But maybe I'm wrong. Pretty wide. You can compare it to my hand. It's a pretty wide track. All kinds of animals come around here. The one we see the most often are the deer. Foxes will pop around now and then, very pretty, the foxes. Fishers, you see the fishers up in the tree sometimes. And you'll see mink and otters and muskrats. Muskrats you mostly see in the water, of course, swimming in the water. And an occasional bear. Bears don't like people, so the bears don't come around very often, but you'll know that they've been here. Sometimes the hummingbird feeders, you know, the cast iron poles that you put the hummingbird feeders on, they'll be bent right down to the ground, and you'll know that a bear was there trying to get a little sweet snack. And these are all wild blueberries. Sometimes I like to pick the blueberries, come out in the morning and try to get a bag full of wild blueberries. They're small, they're not like the ones that you buy in the store. And then I'll have blueberry pancakes or something in the morning. It's a little late in the season for blueberries now. Not only that, but we've had a pretty wet season. If they don't get, you know, they need the water, but they also need a lot of sun, or they don't ripen up and plump up very well. So I doubt if we're going to find any ripe blueberries anymore. Also, the animals like to eat them. The bears eat them, the deer eat them. I think foxes might even eat the blueberries. But if I find some, I'll show you what they look like when wild blueberries grow. And you'll see them all the time, all over the place. On the edge of the roads, you'll find them. Oftentimes you'll see people stopping their cars and they're, you know, up on the hillside. What they're often doing is picking wild berries. And it's kind of funny, whenever I come down this road, I'll see all the ripe berries on this side, and I hardly ever find ripe berries on this side of the road. And I think it's because of the way the sun shines onto the side of the hill. And right here, I'm sure somebody lives in there. I don't want to disturb anybody, but here's some more of those beautiful mushrooms. A lot of different colors. And right behind me you see a deer trail. Let's take a look at that. It comes right up the hill and it goes right through the woods. And here are some fallen birch trees. I think birch trees are among the prettiest trees in nature. Let's take a look at that bark. You can see the birch bark really peels off just like paper. Let's see what that's like. Now this is peeling. Normally you don't want to peel the birch bark off because it destroys the tree. So I'm showing you on this tree. So you can see this tree is already dead, but they're beautiful trees. The Native Americans made their canoes and things out of birch bark because it's very pliable. It comes off, you can cut it and peel it off like sheets of veneer. And if you ever look at museums and that sort of thing, you can see the birch bark canoes that were made. They're just beautiful trees. We'll find some birch trees that are still living. You can see what they look like. There's one of those pretty white birch trees. And here they are, really very, very pretty trees. The wood is extremely soft. If you would ever try to use birch wood in a fireplace or campfire, it burns down like paper. It doesn't last long at all. Oftentimes it's good to get a fire started, and then you put a sturdier, slower burning wood like oak on top of that. And here is a big piece of the birch bark that just came off naturally. So you can see it just comes off in beautiful sheets, and it's really quite sturdy. Quite a sturdy material. And that's why it was good for a lot of fabrication into different things, like canoes. It's a beautiful day to be walking, and as nice and beautiful and serene that it is right now, you know, there's still days that you want to get back to work and start doing something productive. I mean, just being out in the woods looking at the animals, as fun as it is, I do have a hankering to get back to it. And there are some more pretty colorful mushrooms. I sometimes see foxes in this clearing, but nothing today. I almost forgot to show you my favorite tree. We're coming up on it, and I don't want to miss it. because it's a very interesting tree. That's an interesting tree right there that bows up and comes back around. You can just see the bow of that tree. It's got a natural curve to it. That's not my favorite tree, however. Here's another fun tree. It bows out. Still not my favorite tree. And here it is, my favorite tree that actually grew in the shape of a corkscrew. Isn't that wild that a tree would actually grow that way? I just love that tree. It just kind of whoop spins right around. Part of the fun of nature, right? Can you see this deer trail? It goes right down and through the woods. I suspect we're gonna see a deer or two before we're done. There are some deer laying down back there in the woods. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. He's resting right there. You can see his head. I'll try to move. Oh, there's two of them there. I told you we'd run into some deer. Do you see those two ladies back there behind me? I'll turn the camera around and see if I can zoom in better. Oh, now she's on the move. Oh, she's got to stretch a little bit. Oh, I didn't even see this one here. She was right in front of me. All right, I'll leave you alone. That's always fun. I never get tired of seeing the deer, although when I get back I'm going to show you what they do to the flower bed. You can't put flowers out here because the deer will eat them. This is so nice to walk on. It's like walking on a soft carpet. It's kind of mossy, and it's just comfortable on your feet. The deer have really been eating the flowers. They just eat and eat. Look at that, they pulled this one out completely. So that's going to do it for me. I hope you enjoyed our little venture, just walking around my neighborhood. As always, thanks for subscribing, for commenting, for sharing. I'm Mark with the Average Me channel.